Hi, nice to meet you. My name is Allie.
Hi, I'm Celestine. Nice to meet you.
Great. So before we begin, I'd like to go over confidentiality and what it means, and just go over a few limits, and then we'll go ahead and begin after that, describing like just getting to know you a little bit more and why you're here. Okay, so as far as confidentiality, I do want to mention that anything that you say throughout session is going to remain um, between us. I will not disclose any of your information or anything that you disclose with me. I won't say it to my family, friends, anyone that would want to retrieve information about you. Your identity is completely confidential as well. Do you have any questions so far?
So, if anyone asked, like I work at a firm, entertainment firm, if they called you to see if I was seeking therapy, like could you tell them that?
Of course not, and absolutely not. We will not. I will not disclose any of that information. As far as confidentiality, there's also limits to it. For example, if you know of someone that, like a child or dependent or elder that is being abused or neglected, and you come into session and you go ahead and disclose that with me, I would have to contact the proper authorities so that they get the proper care. Is there any questions to that yet?
No, it makes sense.
Okay. And with that being said, there's another limit. For example, if you decide to harm yourself, that includes committing suicide or harming someone else, that would be like homicide, then I would also need to contact the proper authorities, just that so that you are able also to get the correct, proper care that you need.
Okay, I mean, like I'm just I think I'm just like an emotional, like sensitive person, and yeah, like in the past, I've like tried to kill myself, but it was more just like a cry of attention. So like something like that, like is that the same thing? I mean, that's like I'm not suicidal right now, but like just in the past.
Well, that's something that we can go over throughout the session. Where I'll need to get a little bit more information about that. However, if it just has to be like with mood changes or you're just you're not aware of like of your emotions or you don't know how to regulate them, in that case I won't have to contact proper authorities. But for example, if you tell me like you have the means, you have an intention to commit suicide, then of course in that instant I would seek you the best possible care, which would be to contact someone else.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. And also, I would like to mention in our Fake Totally clinic, I am a grad student, so I am not a licensed clinical psychologist. However, I do have a supervisor that is a clinician. She is licensed, and she's training me. With that being said, there are times where I would need some guidance, or I might not how to be of best help for you throughout the session, so I would need to consult her, and in those moments I would need to kind of let her know a little bit more about the situation. Do you have any questions with that so far?
I mean, she can't tell anyone anything else, right?
Of course not. She abides by the same laws and ethical rules that I abide by.
Okay.
And now you did make an agreement when you walked in, which is the video recordings that will be happening because I am a grad student. There will be video and audio recordings. Now those videos are only being seen by myself and my supervisor, and that is just to get a better grasp of your situation. If I ever need guidance, we can review it together, and also so that I get the best possible advice and consultation.
Okay, so it won't like no one else will see the videos. It's not like, gonna be online.
Absolutely not. And as a matter of fact, all the videos that are recorded, once we go over that video, it would be automatically destroyed after.
Okay, perfect.
Great. Are there any questions to the confidentiality or limits?
No, thank you.
Great. And I did want to go over a mini mental state exam before we begin. It kind of tests like your memory and orientation. I'm going to go ahead and do that. It'll literally take 5 minutes. Is that okay?
Yeah, for sure.
Great. So I'm going to go ahead and ask you a few questions, and if you can just please respond. What is today's date?
February 15th,
What is today's year?
2017.
What is today's month? What's the month?
February.
Sorry. What day is today?
It is Wednesday.
Can you also tell me what season it is?
It's winter, I guess, but you know, in LA, it's hard to tell.
It is hard to tell. Can you also tell me the name of this hospital or clinic?
Totally Fake Clinic.
Correct. What floor are we on?
The first floor.
What city are we in?
Los Angeles.
What county are we in?
Los Angeles County.
What state are we in?
California.
Great. So the next section, I'm gonna say 3 words, and I would like you to repeat them. And that would be ball, flag, tree.
Ball, flag, tree.
Correct. Now I'm gonna begin with counting from 100. Now I'm gonna begin counting with 100, and I would need you to count backwards by 7.
It's like a math test. Okay, so 100, 93, 86, 79, 72, 63.
Okay. And can you spell the word world backwards?
World backwards. DLROW.
Great. And those 3 words that I asked you to repeat after me, can you tell me what they are?
Was it ball, flag, tree?
Yes. Can you tell me what this is?
Watch.
Can you tell me what this is?
A pen.
Now, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and do something for me. Can you take the paper? Oh, wait. Are you right-handed or left-handed?
Right-handed.
Right-handed. Okay. So go ahead and read this paper. Fold the paper in half. Do what it says. Hold on. Sorry. Okay. Take the paper with your right hand. Go ahead and fold it. And once you fold it, you can place it on the floor. Now I'm going to hold up this card. Can you read what it says?
Out loud?
I'm sorry. Yes, go ahead and read it out loud.
Close your eyes.
Now can you do what it says? And can you write a sentence for me? And for the next one, can I have 2 pentagons? Can you go ahead and draw the pentagons? Copy them. Great. Thank you. So that was it. How did you feel about it?
I hope I pass. I don't know what.
Oh, well, it's not passing.
Okay.
It's just recalling in memory.
I just, I'm a high achiever, so as long as I do well.
Oh, okay. So tell me a little bit about yourself. What brought you in today?
So the reason that I came in today was my younger sister has been staying with me for about, 5 months at this point. It was supposed to be like a 3-month maximum stay, and she's recently divorced, and she's staying with me in my apartment in West Hollywood. And it's just a lot to handle right now. it just adds to all the other things I have to worry about, and I don't know what to do. She's driving me crazy, but she's my baby sister.
Okay, so if I'm understanding, it's basically your sister has been living with you for 5 months.
Yeah, really overstaying her welcome.
Oh, so was that the purpose of her staying? Was that the initial agreement you guys had?
No, I mean, that's one of the things that's like stressing me out is that she wasn't supposed to be staying this long. It wasn't supposed to be permanent. It was just she's going through a really rough time and everything with her husband. They're getting divorced, and I'm her older sister. That's what I'm supposed to do. But at the same time, it's been a really long time already, and I have my own life here, and I'm really busy at work right now, so I'm stressed there, and just dealing with the daily arguments with her, just bickering. It's a lot to handle on my plate right now.
I mean, I can see how stressful that can be to have your sister in your home and having, you're saying that she bickers at you, and that just adds a lot to your plate. You also mentioned that she's something to worry about besides all the other things. I'm wondering what other things are stressful for you.
Well, I'm a legal secretary at a really prestigious entertainment firm in West Hollywood. Mm-hmm. So I've worked really hard. I've worked my way up. And I have a really big caseload just from my ability. They see what I can do and what a great asset I am to the firm. So they give me a lot of work, and I like working there, but it's a lot of stress to deal with. So I think it's just been too much on my plate with managing that and then managing my sister. Yeah. So I don't really know what to do because I just want to figure out how to solve the situation with my sister.
And in what ways do you think the situation with your sister would be solved?
I guess what I could do that could kind of make her leave.
Make the situation better.
Yeah, I mean, I really want her to figure her things out so that, she doesn't need as much help from me. I want her to be back on her feet. It's just been a long time already for her to not be back on her feet.
Yeah, I can see how that can be stressful, like her having her stay for 5 months and almost depending on you.
Yeah. And I mean, I have another sister too, and I don't know why, Francois is coming to stay with me, but I think also, really successful, and she sees I have this really nice condo, but it's, it's interfering in my work, it's interfering in my love life. I can't be out dating around or being in a relationship when she's crashing on my couch.
So you're not in a current relationship right now?
No, but I mean, I just have ups and downs. Some people tell me that I go in and out of relationships really quickly, but I just think that I'm an emotional, romantic person. So I just think that's how my relationships are.
Do you feel that's how your relationships are?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a lot of passion, maybe you could say drama, but I think that's just part of being in a really romantic relationship.
So tell me a little bit more about that, about maybe your last relationship. What was it like?
Well, my last relationship, I guess my last relationship was with Geoff. We met my second year at Yale. I mean, it ended because he didn't really want something serious, I guess. It was pretty hard.
And you said that your relationships usually consist of like drama or being like emotional. What is that like? Tell me what drama looks like.
Yelling, fighting, but then getting back together, and just ups and downs. I mean, I remember with Geoff, when he broke up with me, I tried to commit suicide. I was just trying. It was a call for help. It was just it was a typical schoolgirl reaction, and it didn't work on him. But I think that was just my reaction.
So, tell me a little bit more about that situation, because you've mentioned it twice before that you've, and I saw it in your intake, that you've been hospitalized for that last attempt that was, am I correct, 5 years ago?
37 now. It was a while ago. I think it was in college, so maybe a little more than that.
So you were, if I'm understanding correctly, you were in a relationship with him, and then when you guys broke up, do you think that was the reason that led you to the attempt?
I think it was just me wanting to get attention, and I thought maybe he would be worried about me and he would try to win me back, or he would just want to be with me again and take care of me, or be drawn to the drama of it. I don't remember exactly what I was thinking, but I just think, maybe it's from my French background that we're just very emotional and dramatic people. So, when you break up with someone and you were in love with them, and your reaction is just to want to kill yourself.
And so as far as like that circumstance and what happened when you were hospitalized, I know you're saying like that's part of like your culture, like just being like very emotional and having these types of moods. Am I correct?
I guess like reactions, yeah.
Reactions, emotional reactions. Sorry, I used the wrong word. As far as that, you mentioned something that you were seeking it for attention. You thought it might have been the attempt was possibly like for his attention. Do you find yourself like in relationships that's mostly what you do?
I never really thought about it. I mean, I think when I'm in a relationship, I expect attention. Yeah, I feel like that's just part of when I'm in a relationship, that I'm getting attention from that man. And I didn't really mention it because it's been a little up and down, but I guess I might be in a relationship still. Well, I've been dating Fred, but it's up and down like my other relationships, so I wasn't really sure where we stood, but it's just really passionate, so sometimes we're together, sometimes we're not, sometimes we have a big fight and we just need a break.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about how your relationship is with him now.
Well, Fred is great. He's actually a partner at my firm, and we met at work. We just connected at work. We were passionate about the same things. We work really hard. I've dated other guys at work, other partners, and I think he's been the one that I really hit it off with, and this has been a longer relationship. Yeah, I mean, things are pretty good with him.
Now, you mentioned that there's ups and downs. So what do your ups look like?
Really passionate love. We have sex a lot. We go out at PDA, he gets me presents. And then, I just feel really cared for.
What about the downs?
I guess if he does something that makes me upset or makes me feel like he's not giving me attention, or he's talking to another girl, or if he's just being a jerk and we just have a fight.
And what does it look like to you when, like, as far as how do you feel when you guys get into fights and arguments?
When you get into fights, I guess it's not. I mean, sometimes it's fun. It's just fun to have that passion and excitement. But yeah, it can be kind of upsetting because obviously we're fighting because I'm hurt or upset. He says something that ticked me off. And then I guess it does make me feel a little stressed out, adding to, lately I've just been feeling angry, depressed, sad, bitter about Francois staying with me. I don't know what to do about her. It's just really, really affecting me.
In what ways do you think it's affecting you?
Well, I want to help her because she's my baby sister, but it's just too much for me to handle right now, and I'm really stressed and angry.
Has that affected like your work at all, or your relationship with Fred?
Not that I can think of. At work, it might be. That's what I'm really concerned about too. Is I don't want it to affect my work ability, and it's distracting me because when I'm at work and I'm trying to think about all the tasks I have to do and all the cases, and I'm just thinking about what am I going to do with the situation with Francois. And when I go home, am I going to be able to work? Is she going to be trying to fight with me? Is there stuff everywhere? It's just a lot, and I'm not used to living with someone else because I've had my own place and I worked really hard to make a good living and have this amazing condo in West Hollywood, and she's just really overstepping.
And as far as like feeling down, because I know you've mentioned I know that you've mentioned like feeling like down when it comes to like just or feeling like stressed because of your situation with having your sister stay with you. Um,
it's just really stressful. I just feel like I don't know if I probably wrote it in the form I had filled out in the beginning, but just all these feelings that I used to struggle with, like depression, anxiety. I feel like all these issues are coming back up for me that obviously I don't want to feel. I don't want to be dealing with this. So
that's completely understandable. I mean, like all these feelings that are coming up for you, like feeling depressed and just feeling stressed and having anxiety. I can understand how that your sister's circumstance, like living with you, trying to help her, yet you still trying to have your own life, how that can be stressful for you.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I just don't know, I guess, what steps to take, because obviously kicking her out is not an option. She's my baby sister, but I want to know what I can do that will pretty much have the same result.
What can you do?
That's why I'm here. I don't know.
I mean, take a second. What options do you feel that you have?
I mean, maybe I could talk to my other sister about maybe offering to have her stay with her, but that wouldn't guarantee that Francois would want to go stay there.
Sounds like one possible solution.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. It's just something to think about.
Yeah, I guess I haven't tried asking her if she could maybe pitch in.
And as far as like you feeling like depressed as of now, what does that look like for you?
sometimes I feel really sad and just helpless in my situation, especially with Francois. Just helpless, like I can't do anything. Um, it's harder, obviously, still go to work and I have to do my job, but it's a lot harder to go in than it normally is.
Mm-hmm.
It's like dragging my feet to go into the office and, put on that happy face and look put together. Especially working in a firm that's largely men, I really have to be on my best behavior and just overcompensate to show that I'm even at their level, which I know I am, but it's just another barrier.
Yeah, I can understand how that must be difficult to almost put on a face for your job or when you're walking in when that's not what you're typically feeling at home.
Yeah, I guess I'm just used to doing it, and I didn't think that it was difficult for me until with the added stress of Francois staying over, maybe it just put me over the edge or something.
And do you feel like your depressed move, how long has that been for?
I've definitely, been on and off depressed, I think, since college. I guess it's the first time I've been in therapy, so I don't know exactly, but I've definitely remember struggling with depression, even in college or the second year, I guess. Around the time of my father's death, I started to feel more uneasy, I guess. I think it might have been around the time that I was first hospitalized. When obviously I just thought it was a cry for help, but at the hospital, they told me that I was depressed.
Did they diagnose you with depression?
I don't remember. I think, see, I never saw a therapist. I think what I was feeling was probably depression, but...
Well, tell me a little bit about that. How long was that for?
On and off about a year.
And say in the times that you felt down or depressed, how long would that last for?
I guess weeks. Okay. Most of the day.
And I know you mentioned because you have downs and ups, right?
I think it's okay. It might have been harder to tell if I was depressed because even in college, then when I was in my first relationship, there were ups and downs. So when the relationships were great, then, I was happy and just really to a romance and just being, treated like a princess. And then when you would fight, be down, it's kind of difficult to tell. Is the relationship? I don't know. Is it other things in life?
Mm-hmm.
Just a lot of ups and downs.
It's understandable. What about the intensity of when you're having your ups? Does it feel like you're having a race of thoughts, or does it feel more like you're more emotional?
Definitely more emotional. I just don't even care. I'm just gonna fight. I'm not gonna hold anything back. Just a lot of passion.
So I remember you mentioning your attempt 5 years ago. I only want to bring it out just for a little bit, which is what was your attempt like? What were the means? How did you try to do it?
I tried to overdose on my roommate's pills.
And by any chance, are those pills still around or in your house?
No, I mean, I'm not at all suicidal or anything at all. Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely stressed and, pissed off, but I'm not thinking about killing myself or hurting myself.
And tell me a little bit, I haven't gotten this information, but tell me a little bit about your family, your background, what is...
I had a really great childhood. I'm from Quebec. My parents, great relationship growing up. When I was a kid, I just can't think of anything bad. I guess it got a little rocky when I was a teenager. I could tell that my parents, that there was something going on. My dad definitely seemed depressed, and kind of like pulling away from the family and my mom. And then that was kind of around the time when my dad committed suicide. My dad died in, I think I was 16. Yeah.
What was that like for you?
It was definitely just a shock. I don't think any of us could have known that he was that upset. It didn't really make sense to me at the time.
It's completely understandable to be 16 and not really understand why he might have committed suicide.
I don't really like to talk about this stuff because, it's just emotional. I don't want to get into those other emotions, but
that's fine. We can always, whenever you're comfortable in another session, if you want to talk about it, we will.
Thank you. It's really nice of you.
So tell me about your mom. What was your relationship like?
Good. My mom comes from a banking family, and so she also was educated and was always ambitious. I think from both my parents, I was just brought up to be achievement driven, ambitious. My dad was a neurosurgeon. My mom was in banking, like I said. So it just, was inevitable that I was going to go to Yale and pursue the career that I have now. Yeah, I was doing really well in college, and I guess only issues came around with the relationships, but besides that, I was pretty stable in school, and I just did well and graduated on time.
And do you think that your career choice, what you made, do you think that it was like your family wanting that for you, or did you want that career yourself?
I think I wanted it. My parents, of course, play a role, and my family wanted to make a name for myself and just continue the success of my family. So I was always driven to do a career that would give me a high position and show my abilities. So I think it just kind of fit perfectly.
Sounds like you have a lot of characteristics like your mom too, right? Because you mentioned your mom was really driven, and
I guess I don't really think about it. Yeah.
And
they're all in Quebec, so I don't really talk to them that much.
Oh, your mom
and
your older sister.
Yeah.
Oh. What is that like, living away from your family?
Well, after college, when I moved away for college, so I think that kind of was the beginning when I got adjusted to not being in Quebec anymore. It's definitely hard to, be when I started off in a new city and, trying to adjust. But now it's been a while, so I'm, West Hollywood is more my home. But yeah, I just don't really know what to do about my other sister that's still stuck with me. I usually can tell anybody what I need from them, what I need them to do, and what's the best direction to go. So this is just weird that it's difficult.
Why do you think that is, that you can't tell your sister what you want from her, what your need is?
I guess that's why I came in, because usually I can just do it and handle it. So it's really strange for me. It's new to not be able to do that.
Well, tell me a little bit more about your relationship with her. What's it like?
Well, she's much younger than me, so she's my baby sister. I feel like I just have to take care of her, and that's what I'm supposed to do. I can't be someone to add to. She's gone through so much. I cannot add to that.
With her, by going through so much, it's her
kick her out,
divorce
yeah,
situation.
would be so much worse to add to everything she's been going on with the divorce. Yeah, you know, she's family, and that's something that I still have to always keep in mind.
Is she? I'm not sure if you mentioned it, but is she like employed as well? Or
Right now, she's not employed, so she's pretty much. I'm fully supporting her financially too, and I guess emotionally, she's not. You know, she's not seeing anybody else. She's not talking to other friends or anything. So it's just a huge burden load for me to be taking on, and I don't really know what to do because I guess I would have thought that it would have been enough time now for her to kind of get back on her feet and take the next steps to, be more proactive about her life.
I mean, that sounds completely stressful. I can understand like how you feel. You know, you're mentioning that, she's not employed, so that brings like financial burden and you have to like support her. That must be really difficult. I mean, when you look at her situation, does she seem depressed as well or feel like, I don't know, down with her situation?
She does seem down. I think it's hard. She's not really telling me what much that she's feeling, but I would just by assuming that she's still staying with me and she has been putting off making other plans and other living plans, that if I'm the only person she can go to, then I can't just kick her out, because then where else will she go?
And if you kick her out, what do you think that would say about yourself?
Probably mean that I was a bad sister. I wouldn't want to cause her any pain.
Are you a bad sister?
I don't think so, because I've been taking care of her. But I think if I stopped taking care of her, then I would be.
Why do you think you find it difficult to talk to her and ask her where she stands in her life?
I think because I feel that it's my job to take care of her, because she's so much younger. She's my baby sister, and I've always been that one for her.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I would just be worried. I don't know if she would, ever do anything, or if she'd be get into trouble if she didn't have me.
But did she live before you, before she got married?
Before she got married, I think she was still at home, because she got married pretty young. She's 25 now.
Mm-hmm.
She went straight into it. Yeah, I mean, she's so young, and I think she might just not know what to do. Didn't really figure herself out and get a good job to make sure that she was secure.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe she knows that I'll be there to take care of her, so she expects it of me.
Do you think she expected that from her mom and her husband too? To be taking care of her?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it, because she's just always been taken care of. I definitely did not think like that growing up, and I think that's why I was able to be so successful because I put it on myself to do that,
Mm-hmm.
to not let anyone else, anyone else decide my fate. And I just could be free to date around and not have to worry about if I'm going to stay with them or not.
Mm-hmm. What about your relationship now? You said that you kind of don't know where you stand in that situation either. Do you think that came after your um, your situation with your sister living at your house, or do you think that was before?
I think it was around the same time. Um, but we haven't been dating that long. I was kind of just dating other partners of the firm. So yeah, it hadn't been that serious. And it was just normal for me to have um, tumultuous relationships, just things being exhilarating, but also fighting. And
So you're not in. Um, so you were dating several people. It wasn't just that you had a relationship with him.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I think I was just, figuring it out. I didn't want to settle down with just one person.
Mm-hmm.
They're just keeping things casual.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that whole aspect of me, though, is just my French background. I don't know. It doesn't really seem like weird to me that I don't know that I don't have a steady boyfriend. I think my sister's kind of brought it up a little bit, so it's just another thing we would fight about. Just because she was married, she thinks that I should be married.
Mm. So tell me a little bit about that. What things do you guys fight about besides
Everything. Yeah, I guess like for example the dating, and she's just overstepping because she's telling me that like I shouldn't be dating someone I'm fighting with, or I should get serious with someone. But yeah, I'm like, listen, you got divorced. Like you don't really know what a good relationship is clearly. I will fight, but I still, she's my sister. I can't, send her out. But I think I would like to figure out another way to have her leave and give me my own space back.
Yeah, it must be difficult to not have your own space at this moment.
Yeah, really is.
I mean, I don't have options for you, but we can always continue talking about the different options that you might possibly have. We did discuss a few today.
I guess, yeah, that was the first time I actually thought of something, but I don't know if it's going to work, so. But thank you. So maybe you can help me figure something out.
I mean, yeah, I can be here for you to be of help.
Right.
See if there's any possible solutions.
Thank you.
We do have a few minutes left. Is there anything else that you would like to tell me?
No, I think that was pretty good. I didn't really know what to expect coming in, but I feel like it was helpful that I might like to do this.
I mean, I think it's great that you came in. I mean, it takes courage to even just come into a session with a therapist and, Usually we always come in with our own assumptions of what it's going to be like. So it took a lot of courage for you to be in here and tell me about yourself.
Thanks.
Especially disclosing a lot of personal things. I mean, that takes a lot of courage. So I commend you for coming in.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
It's a lot of strength. And, we'll just continue talking, and we can set up an appointment with the secretary up at the front, and we'll continue discussing the possible options that you may have. And just continue to get to know you and a little bit more about your personality, more background. I know you mentioned like your French background. Like those are things that I would like to get to know as well.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Is there anything else that you'd like to mention before we leave?
No, I'll make another appointment with the secretary when I leave.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for coming in today.
Thank you for seeing me.
Thank you.